Okay, I dedicate this video to Doug Carvin in Arizona. So I've been hiking for hours, dude. I'm following these types of tree structures. See, those ones there didn't grow here. I'll prove it to you real quick, just so you know I'm not making this stuff up. Regardless, you can see that I move it, it didn't grow here. There's about 7 trees that have been shoved up into this one tree here. Okay, I follow those through the forest and just continue to follow the tree lanes. Of course, some of these could be natural. It's not like that in itself is conclusive. It's the collective, right? You got to take everything in. You have to take everything into account. I'm up at the very top of a mountain now. Well, but right below the top, I should say, in a little hidden bowl, way beyond where hunters are going to go. I mean, if you killed anything here, you wouldn't be able to haul out the meat because it's just too remote. And usually hunters want to be somewhere where there's going to be a snowmobile track or a 4-wheeler. By the way, guys, my friend Doug is amazing. He's a close friend of mine. He's the coolest guy in the world. He doesn't believe. He's a skeptic. And he told me the other day that him and some guys from his company, he owns a pest control company, him and some guys are watching my videos. And I just want to ask you, do Boy Scouts do this type of stuff here that you're seeing? Do Boy Scouts or hunters or granola people do this type of thing? Do bears do this type of thing? Now look at the weaving. Kind of get these interesting shapes. Generally with Sasquatch, they're not going to be symmetrical. What you have to understand is a lot of these trees were carried in here. Their stump is nowhere in here. They never grew here. Look at all these trees, for instance, that are leaning up against this guy. Look at this. See that right there in the trees? What animal does that? Or hunter, for that matter? What Boy Scout troop is going to take entire trees and stick 4 of them together in a giant teepee? You could say it was wind, right? If there were stumps around, you could say it was wind anyway, but they're not even leaning the same direction. They're leaning all different directions. In fact, the leans are converging, right? They're converging into these teepee-looking things everywhere. And there's a whole jungle gym of leans back there. I think the purpose of these leans is to maybe protect them while they sleep so that trees don't fall on them, limbs don't fall on them in their sleep. That's just a hypothesis. Now we're starting to see kind of more of this teepee type stuff here. You can pull them up out of the ground. They're heavy. This one is obviously that just was shoved into the ground. Okay. But this is a whole tree. This isn't a branch. This is a tree. And then near the entrance of the wallow, or I should say the other end of the wallow, is this deal. Okay. Now, I want somebody to try, seriously, try and explain this, what we're seeing here. We have trees leaning in this way towards us, right? We have trees leaning out. We have trees tucked over and under. Lots of weaving going on, actually. How did this happen naturally? Now, I'm not even talking about wood knocks or screams, whoops, whistles. Anyway, if someone's going to argue that this is natural, it's caused by weather, then you are making a claim. So if you make a claim, the burden of proof is on you. I challenge you to film it happening naturally. Now this, my friends, is a Sasquatch track. This is exactly what you're looking for when you're looking for a Sasquatch track, okay? The heel comes all the way back to about here. Look how it's nice and pressed down. Very evenly pressed down, okay? Look at how it comes up on the sides here. You can see the side of the foot the whole way. You got a very clear impression. You have impressions of toes. Very clear impression. I'm not sure if the toe Comes here. If this is the last toe, I can't tell, but you can clearly see the side of the foot coming to back, right? Beautiful, beautiful track, very large. Okay, this is absolutely beautiful. So my heel back there is even with the back of his heel, or her heel. Look how beautiful that is. This is a Bigfoot track. There really is nothing in the forest. There's nothing in the forest that can make this type of track. It's not a deer laying down. It's not a raccoon trail, you know. It's nothing. The other track, so this is looking like it's a left foot. The other track is right there. At least it looks like it is to me. Is, let me see if I can do here. You can't tell as well because pine cone petals have, you know, from squirrels have fallen on top of it, but you can see that it is actually pressed down. There's a big impression, big long impression, just like that's a vole. Okay, and it stepped right here. Beautiful. Look how beautiful this is, guys. Come on. The heel starts here. The heel starts here. It goes up. You can see the same thing. That is so beautiful. That is beautiful. I love it. I mean, nothing else. This is nothing else. Same size, very large. Probably about 14 or 15 inches. And then beyond that, it's difficult to track. I'm seeing a potential track there. It's nice and flat, at least. A really beautiful track here. Now this is exactly what you're going to look for. See this? Comes around here and it's just enormous. I mean, the whole thing. Looks like these are probably where the toes are. Looks like there's some impressions there. It's just, I mean, look at that. So the heel is back here. I'm pretty sure you can see that. I can see it through the camera. I mean, again, nothing makes this mark. Nothing makes this track. There's another one over there. It looks like they've been here more recently. Look at that one. This one's kind of weird. It looks like maybe they slid or something because it's not entirely straight, but it looks like this is the heel. Yeah, this one looks like they maybe pivoted or something while they made it. And it looks like there's another one on the side that's older. But anyway, it looks like, to me, it looks like at least there's some track, maybe a potential track right here. This one, and let me show you, where is it? This one. Again, look how deeply it's impressed. Now, these aren't too new, they're older, but, and look at the back here, or where's the back? The back would be right here. Let me put some sticks here so you can tell that this is the back. Okay, there's the back. And the front is up where you can see those impressions. Right there. So again, this is big. We're talking big. And it's consistently, flat. And then, it's hard to follow. Always, because a lot of moose and elk and whatever else do come through here. Now my question is, if Sasquatch is an evil spirit or some sort of mystical being, or like people say, why is it so easy to find their structures, their prints, their scat? It's harder to find their hair because you never know if it's another animal, and if you'd be annoying if you sent it in to some scientist. That right there looks like could be something. Why is it so easy to find this physical evidence everywhere? It's not like this stuff happens quickly. They spend a lot of time in the woods, time and energy on these tree structures. Forestry Service clears this place. But Sasquatch will spend a lot of time and energy building blinds and time and energy hunting. Okay? So if they don't have to hunt, why are they building so many blinds and traps and deer snares along game trails? You know, why do they spend so much time near game trails? Why do they create art out of bones? You know, if these are spiritual beings, or if they're living in another dimension, wouldn't you kind of expect them to be eating other dimensional food or something? I don't think they're living in another dimension. I can't tell you, what the freak is this? Oh man, look how cool that is. I see this, the little stuff. You never would have got this if, I mean, it's so easy to miss this stuff. Look at this. Look at this right next to it. Really pressed down, nice and flat. This is crazy. They've been shoving sticks into here. Look at these sticks. They've been shoving the sticks in to this hole, maybe to try and flush out a rabbit or something. Maybe they're burying their scat. Maybe there's a fruit under there. I don't want to dig it up because I just think it's disrespectful. But look at the X and then the parallel bark stuff. How weird is that? Cool beans, man. Interesting. This is why I think that the young ones have thin feet. I'm trying to figure out where the last place is that he stepped. The ground is covered with that weird mossy stuff. The moss is broken through right there a little bit. I don't know where he, maybe next to this tree. Anyway, here's a foot. His next step looks like it's right there. There's another track, I think, right here. Looks like it goes back to here. Just the impression. Broken through that mossy stuff. This one looks like, I'll try to get my shade on it. Looks like, what am I looking at here? Anyway, I don't know, like, you can't tell, you know? And then the moss goes away. And that's all she wrote. Seriously though, any scientist that can explain this didn't grow here. As you can see, it's been shoved there, it didn't grow here. Okay, this is what I call a needle tree. It's just stuffed in there. How did this get pressed so tightly up near this tree, getting through all these branches without breaking them? Look at this branch here. Wouldn't it have broken this branch? Look at the strangeness of this stuff. All right, Doug, this is another thing for you. So we got these tree lanes, right? We follow the tree lanes. And then I call this place the arena because it kind of reminds me of like a rodeo arena. There's heavy like wall and fencing all the way around, right? Like that's clearly not natural, but there's really no reason for somebody to do this. Now here's a good example of a really big tree. It's about 11 inches wide, okay, in diameter, which is big. It's really heavy, and it's about 50 feet tall. It's not growing there. It didn't grow there. It's not natural. It was placed here. So it's stripped of bark and branches, broken on both sides. Didn't grow here. It was carried here. There's no stump. Now another thing I want to show you real quick is this horizontal. That's the dry bark hang. That's why this is called dry bark wallow. Now last year, sometimes what the Sasquatch will do is they'll put like a centerpiece in their wallows, and this is a bunch of parallels and a bunch of parallels crisscross or perpendicular to it, right? Like a checkerboard or a chessboard. And so I don't know why they do that, but it's very unnatural. This though, let's look at this. This is a tree. I think it's a tree. And it's sitting on that branch and then broken immediately after. And sitting up here and then broken immediately after. Or there's that was going to be the root ball. Okay? Which is why I think it's a tree, not a branch. Now look how it's right under this part. How would you explain this naturally? It's right under a branch that would have broken easily if this had fallen into place. But as you can see, none of the branches above it are broken, which means it didn't come down from the top. Let's see if it would have fallen from straight down. Look at all the branches it would have had to go to. Come on, buddy. Yeah, I would have to go through all those branches and break them. Okay? There's a tree lean here, kind of helping support it. By the way, this is upside down, so the bottom of this tree is there. The top of the tree is there. And it's underneath this horizontal. But it's over these branches below it. Right? So tell me how on earth this could have fallen into place. It's in the center of the wallow, and this is a bark hang, which sometimes the Sasquatch will do. I don't know why they do it, but it's just kind of some sort of symbol that they use. Okay, so these little things, I wish this looked as good as it did last year. Maybe I'll find the video from last year and put it in here. But these things must be explained, because these trees did not grow here. They did not grow in this little cluster of pine trees that I'm in. I think something just got thrown at me. One time I was in here and, well, never mind. Lots of things have happened in this place while I'm alone here. So this is something that I think skeptics need to deal with. Bears will roll logs. Bears will even pile logs, right? Bears don't do that. Or the tree lean thing. Bears don't build these teepees. Bears don't build teepees. Neither do moose. Neither do raccoons. Neither does the wind. The wind, earthquake, whatever. They do not build teepees that are coming from all different directions, and generally they're the same age of trees. So what that means is that it happened around the same time. Somebody placed it all there around the same time. Here's another tree that they've leaned everything against. It's surrounded by tree leans. See that on all sides? Just here. And all the other leans in the forest are kind of coming towards this area right here. There's lots of them, you can see. Now look at this too. There's a tree here that's a large tree. It's broken. And it's hanging there, and it's shoved very tightly into the crook of that tree up there. Now how did that happen naturally? Maybe it's an old tree that leaned over against this one, and then that tree just grew around it. Holy crap. I hope you heard that. And that is what they'll do. That's what they'll do. So, wow, that kind of startled me. But anyway, they whoop and hoot. In fact, I was hearing some awesome, before I turned the camera on, I was hearing some really awesome whoops up behind me. I don't get too excited about whoops because they do it so often. But another thing that I think is important is, I think it's important to explain stuff like this. See, this is kind of what I call an easel. It's like a two-dimensional thing that they build, kind of on an incline like an easel. Sometimes what they do is they build these things, they weave them together. See how this whole tree is woven behind that log, or behind that stump, over these ones, and then over here. And then this here is a triangle. Now this triangle, a triangle is kind of a universal Sasquatch symbol. I don't know. I don't know what it means, but they make triangles all the time. All right, I'm going to be quiet for a while, see what happens.